Good morning, everyone. It's 11:01 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Tuesday, May 6th, 2025. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. So starting tomorrow, it's going to be pretty exciting. It's a 32-inch screen, and I've liked the evolution of doing this on the screen for the updates. But I probably won't be in the morning update because it won't be here until around noon. But I'm going to have a 32-inch screen. It's a touch screen. It'll be on like a rolling stand with wheels so that I can actually touch the screen instead of having to mirror it through my tablet that you see down here. I will have it directly to the screen. It's got an Android operating system, so it'll be able to be used in a similar fashion, except I won't have to do the 2 steps to get here, so I'll actually be able to move the screen with my hands. It's going to be revolutionary for what I do. So I thank everybody for being here this morning. I'll keep this about 10 to 15 minutes. My son's got therapy in a little bit. He didn't have school this morning because they have a special election in Clawson. We voted to have the 5-panel council move to 7, and they're having a special election because they don't want to move it to 7, and they're saying this is to preserve our election rights. So I'm not voting because obviously it doesn't matter. They're just going to do new elections until they get it the way they want it. So what's the point? But that's what's going on today. So a little bit different timing today. I did a little workout before I started. And, I had to do my weight training, and then I wanted to do this before we left. Gives us a better idea of what's going on in the morning. Make sure to hit that like button so YouTube can recommend this update. I would greatly, greatly appreciate it. We've been doing very well with the likes. We're almost to 36,000 subscribers, so thank you to the 35,950 plus subscribers of the channel. It means the world to me that we continue to build this in a positive direction. Remember, positivity over negativity. We're not the victims in this community. We play the winner. And being the winner, you got to have all the news from an education, charting, news perspective, along with the politics and economic feel so that we understand what's going on. So with XRP right now, we see, we're down to $2.10. Not much we can say about it right now. We're down 1.02%. We did fall all the way down to about $2.09, $2.08, but it's had a little bit of a rebound here this morning. Could be a nice little structure that could possibly be forming here. Let's go into the chart that means the most for our personal, where we're at right now in the chart pattern, because we did come down to that lower support almost all the way. We didn't quite hit it perfectly, but it's something we've been talking about. If we dump down below 217, we'd start to seek out that $2.05. And it did start to happen here a little bit. It did start to happen. We absolutely started to seek out that area. If we look at it in the daily, we can see once we didn't hold 217, we started to break through. Let's do it in the 4-hourly. It'll probably be a little bit easier to see. We can put this into real time. So yeah, we fell out. Once that 217 didn't hold, we came down below that 200 day. We were going to start to aim towards 205. We came down to approximately $2.07, so we didn't miss it by much. Now we have to see if we form some kind of reversal to back test the drop, and if we did, we should end up somewhere around here in the 20-day time frame, and that would put us somewhere around a back test, around 215. So if this is real bearish, we'll get a back test, and it would get rejected at 215. So that's what I would look at this morning. We're still stuck in this pattern, still going to have to get over in real time that first layer. If we move it to the zone, you're going to have to get over that 221 area. Until you get over that, it's going to be a problem. And then if you fall through that 205, what I fear is that we'll start to hunt this lower box. And this is, to me, the distribution box, which I think would be a perfect... Oops, forgot that screen doesn't come until tomorrow. See, it'll be so nice having that new screen because then I'll just be able to tap it up here and be able to move it around. But that's at $1.98 on the distribution box. We could back test it and form that beautiful inverse head and shoulders right on top of that support structure. Or maybe even, tap into the distribution box a little bit. But we've got this all formed, right? We came into here, left shoulder. I guess that's going to make it harder to see. That's probably going to make it harder to see. So what we did was... Where is this? Whoops. We came in... Let me get the brush back out. I went right past it. Twice. So We came down, created this left shoulder to a head, down around. Now back test it right here, and then you can kind of go back in the pattern. See how we were back here, came around, boom. Then we did the short stuff, back around, boom. And now if it breaks out from there, you can do something like that. You could even come and travel the box maybe a little bit. But that's my fear. If we break down that 205, this area, we're going to end up in this distribution box. And that inverse head and shoulders would look nice if it bounced off right here at about $1.98. If we go down a little farther near that $1.77, all that really does, if we go back into the other chart, it's going to have to be this one. We come back down here and fill down the inverse head and shoulders, if you guys remember this, and it would start filling into that area. That becomes a very dangerous box, though, once we get into that zone. Once we get into that zone, it's dangerous, because after making this whole formation, to have it come all the way down here now, it's going to be interesting. Because is it going to hold here, or would it break right back through? That's why I like to look at the distribution box, because if it holds that, we'll be fine. But if it doesn't hold that box, we're going to have a big problem. Because then we would end up coming back down to the bottom. But that could bring you down to like that $1.35, $1.28 even. But the other scenario would be that it has to come all the way through and back test the old supply box as support. Then it could start breaking out. So, I mean, that's what we're trying to figure out here. So that's the importance of this pattern not giving way, and we end up maintaining. And then even if it falls through the 205, the $1.50 would hold, because then you would hold in the distribution box. That is the overwhelming reason why we need to hold that area. So that's the best way to look at that. I don't want to make it too difficult to read, but right now we are in that bearish zone. We talked about it on Sunday in the live. We talked about it yesterday. It didn't look good. It looked like it was going to hunt that 205.5 area. Came down to 207. Now if we back test the drop, about 215, back testing the 20-day and about the 4-hour would be appropriate. So that's what we're going to have to watch for here. That's what we're going to have to watch for. And if that plays out, you know, then it's going to be some kind of, it's going to be an issue. If it came below 205, it would create that beautiful inverse head and shoulders even. And you can see it building up even through the chart. It's just, right now it's a little dangerous. It's dangerous. So I can't wait until tomorrow when this is going to be touchscreen. It's going to be a 32-inch. It's in 4K. And like I said, it's got the Android operating system. It's kind of like a TV, but it'll be on wheels and it'll have a stand that goes up. And then I'll just customize it to where it'll be right behind me. Now, it won't be as big as this. It'll be about half the size of the screen, so it'll be a lot easier for us to merge it into a spot, bring us a little bit closer, you know, and not have the delay from having to go to my tablet back to the screen. I'll just be able to do it on the screen, and I can't wait. So I'm putting into the program because I have 195 people that are members of Tom's Army currently, which is awesome. So if you want to support the program, I do everything for free. I've been doing this since March of 2021, March 24th to be exact. And I've never missed a day. So if you want to show support, I put all my content out for free. There's no paywalls. But I can promise you the money, if you're part of Tom's Army, I invested in better tablets. I invested in better technology so that the content looks better. And now I'm investing, it was about $700 into this touchscreen 32-inch 4K TV. Like I said, on the stand, but I'm taking it directly out of the money I make in the show. Not from my trading, but just from you guys supporting me. And if you guys support me, I'm willing to put it back into the show and make it 10 times better. And I'm trying to be innovative. So this, you haven't seen nothing yet. 2025 is the year of innovation. I've been doing this 4+ years. I'm starting to figure out some of the tricks here. Bitcoin right now is at 94K, down about $645 or 0.68%. That's not telling in itself just by seeing the number. But the reason why it is telling is because we've got to see if we hold that area. It's basically Bitcoin holds that 93,136, which it tried to tap here. If we zoom in, it tried to tap, and it's held so far, but that very well could be a bear flag right here. And if that is, this is going to be like, and this is what we were worried about on Sunday. This is exactly what we were worried about on Sunday, is that it did this, it came up into a shoulder, back down to a head, and then somehow this would bounce into a shoulder, and then we would have to back test this area. And then if that didn't hold, you could find yourself coming all the way back there and back testing the breakout. And if you look at this in real time, you're talking about a possibility here in real time, you know, coming back to 73, maybe coming all the way back to 63. So that's why we have to make sure it didn't form this pattern, because you can clearly see if it did, there's a shoulder, head, shoulder. We need this to bounce out into a W reversal and then break 631 to invalidate this possibility. So that's what we're going to pay attention to. As you can see, it looks like it bounced out an additional layer from XRP. Because if you look at XRP, I mean, it just finished it a little different. So maybe XRP just prematurely broke out. And now we're going to do the aforementioned back test of some of these box areas, like the distribution and things like that, just to get back into demand eventually up here. So maybe that's what we're going to do. Maybe that's how we get back to demand. We have to retest this area a little bit farther and make sure we've got enough supply. And then before I leave, gold, because I made some portfolio increases the last 24 hours, as I talked about on Friday what I was going to do. Yesterday I bought more into the iSilver Trust. It's up a couple percent today. I put in 15,000. I already have plenty of physical gold and silver, but I wanted to put my cash after it went down below 32. I talked about it on Friday. Yesterday when I bought it, and I wasn't able to do the live yesterday because it was my mom's birthday, so I couldn't dip into my, increase in portfolio size. But I believe silver is getting ready for a pretty big breakout here in time here. And when you start looking at this, you can start to see it's trying to break out here in this fashion. Now, I'm not saying you're not going to lose money at any point if you put it in, but silver for me, with the gold-silver ratio where it's at, looks like a nice bull flag, looks like it's starting to pile out. Gold-silver ratio sitting at 102.36. There's only been 13 times in the history of these charts that this has happened. So, and you're talking about a 100-year chart or 85-year chart, only 13 instances. So I put 15,000 in the iSilver Trust at 31.94. So I mean, it's not up, or what was it? Yeah, 31.90. No, was it 31.94? Was it 32.19? It was on the reversal yesterday. I feel like it was still. No, it was 32.19. Yeah, for sure. 32.19 because it was on the pullback up, and I'm like, this is the shot. 32.19. And that I put it in the iSilver Trust so that I can, if I need to turn it back into cash for any reason, I will. I had that 15,000 into a 4% bond that made me a couple $100. It wasn't thick, or I think it made me $106 in a couple months. And then instead of doing that, I figured with the bond market about to be flipped upside down, now it's time to put that spare cash just into like that'll be paid for my house tax in the summer, which will be about $5,000. Most of my summer and winter tax is done in the summer. It's only like $250 in the winter, so you pay most of it in the summer. But I'll put that in the iSilver Trust, let it materialize until July, and see what happens. I won't touch that. And then if it goes down, it goes down. Whatever left will stay in there. But I don't believe in the U.S. dollar, so I don't like to have money sitting there. I only have a couple thousand, like 2,000 to 3,000 at any time in my bank account. And then I'd like to have it invested in the mining stocks. And speaking of mining stocks, and I'll keep you guys updated on that. So my portfolio additions were not in crypto. Crypto, I have over $30,000 liquid. As you guys know, I got out of 95% of my positions over the last month or so, what I had left. And I've been given the warnings about, hey, take the best price you possibly can. I won't sell XRP, what I have, and I won't sell XRP Healthcare, but the rest, it's up for your own interpretation, including all my babies and such. I found the best opportunities, and I've been just sitting on the cash right now. So I've been indulging. I sent $3,000 out because I had about 33,000 plus in Crypto.com sitting in safe cash. I took 3,000 and I put more into mining stocks after the drops on Friday. So what I did was B2 Gold came under $3, and yesterday I bought it. I said there's no way it's sitting here. It was at $2.99 on the open. I bought it. And I had about 3,022 tokens. I bought it back up to 3,222 because at a time I took 200 and I put it into Barrick Gold when it was at 15. So I ended up revaluing and putting back what I had taken out. Pan America Silver, I bought 100 more shares, which cost me 200 more shares of Pan America Silver and 200 more shares of, not Pan America, Fortuna Silver Mines and First Majestic. So I had 1,002 shares of both Fortuna Silver Mines and First Majestic. They both went under $6 yesterday. And I got the 200 additional shares of Fortuna Silver Mines, in case anybody's following the mining stocks. I said I'd be very transparent with my journey here. Yesterday when it was down, it wasn't much farther down than it is now. $5.94. It didn't fill down here. I know it filled up here when the morning opened, because I put it in before the market opened, but it didn't take the lower bid. It took the slightly higher end. I believe it was $5.94. And then on First Majestic, it was almost the exact same price. It was down, on the open, it was down here. I think it was like $5.90. So I've got 1,202 tokens, or shares now of First Majestic and of Fortuna Silver Mines. I bought another 40-something Pan America Silver yesterday on the open. It wasn't much lower. It was like $23.90 or something. I didn't get 23 cents. I think it was $23.90. This is just adding to these bags because I know silver's undervalued. And gold, you know, like I said, I think gold, if you're buying the actual ounces, the best deal right now is to buy the mining stocks. They're valued at gold prices under $2,000 an ounce. So the easiest way to get the gold is the mining stocks. And these are my favorite mining stocks for gold: Barrick Gold and B2 Gold. Kinross is fantastic, but it's already ran up to 15. There's a few other ones, but I put my trust in these two in particular. Balance sheets and such. Barrick pays about 2.5% dividend. B2 Gold pays about 5. It's 4.95% today. And then Pan America, First Majestic, and Fortuna are where I love the silver miners. A couple of these also produce some gold. But it's just a spectacular thing. B2 Gold mined the most silver they ever did in 24. So that's a great, great sign. And then last but not least, we've got the US dollar at 99.41. So I took advantage when it actually boosted and it boasts. And then I like to take advantage of any kind of rise in the dollar, like how it went up, and buy it and move it into silver. We've got US 10 years dipped a little bit to 4.35, and oil is up 4.16%. That's what we talked about over the weekend. And we talked about possibilities of a real steal in some of these oil companies. We talked about Murphy's and a few other. We'll talk more about that in live. I got to get going, everybody. I'm XRP Future Millionaire. It's been 17 minutes while this update kind of got away, but I'm very appreciative of everybody who watched through. I really love this new format. And starting, I don't think it'll be tomorrow morning because I don't think I'll have the new setup yet. But starting Thursday, for sure, when you see this update in the morning, my screen's going to be touchscreen. It's a 32-inch screen. It'll be dedicated just for this. And it's going to be a beautiful thing. So if you're looking to trade XRP or your favorite crypto, and you're looking for a way to maintain and keep it within range so you're not paying exorbitant fees, I highly encourage, and I've talked about this during the lives, I went through this myself with not understanding like I should have. And I cost myself a lot of money in yesteryear, especially on Uphold in 21 when we had that phenomenal run. Cost me almost $2,000 in fees when I sold that XRP XLM DGB out. A lot of money in fees. I may have had about 15, 16,000 when I sold, but I only materialized about 14,000 of it. So it was heartbreaking, but at the same time it was a lot of money. But now I know about Bitunix. I wish I would have known about them back then. They never got rid of XRP no matter what. Even in the times of the lawsuit early on, they have licensing for the USA. They're just not an exchange where you send or receive from a bank account. So you have to send or receive the asset from another exchange and or location, another wallet. There's Crypto.com where I buy DGB. But you can also, if you're Schwab, go to LBank here and you can use LBank to buy DGB as well. It says it's not available in the USA, but they've guaranteed that it is. It just gives a warning because of the USA stipulations. But I use them and it works. They have XRP Healthcare. I just prefer, like I said, Bitunix. HOTCOIN customer service has got 100 times better. Literally 2 seconds after I message them, they've solved my problem within 24 hours, and now I'm back in the game with them. Spot fees are next to nothing. Leverage is a little higher than Bitunix, so I'd encourage Bitunix. But you can play the same game of sending and receiving from wallets and spot with HOTCOIN as well. Just some of them they won't withdraw. Like some of them have limitations. So look through all of this stuff and save yourself. If you want to see my content and you're afraid YouTube's not going to tell you when I'm live, join the Telegram right here. And you'll be able to join us for free. Just some people are trying to come in and advertise their trading programs and things. Don't do that shit. You'll be banned. I'm not looking for people to steal my community's money. I don't ask questions. You're just gone. There are no warnings. The only warning is this warning. You're fucked if you disrespect my community. And that's about it. 35,900 subscribers, 5,600 videos in 4 years. And I think we're on the right track here. So thank you all so very much. And if you are joining the Telegram, where the hell is the Telegram? Where the hell is the Telegram? I know it's on here somewhere. Oh, wait a minute. This is my old tablet. It won't be on here. But if you join the Telegram, it'll have a bunch of sections and things like that. But just pay attention to the analysis. XRP could be bouncing. It needs to bounce here. We could play off this short-term inverse head and shoulders without breaking down. But if we invalidate the head here on the dollar, if the dollar, why did I say XRP? The dollar, if it invalidates this inverse head and shoulder, this is going to dive under 99, probably towards 97. So pay attention. And XRP trying to bounce out here, but it's got to maintain. And in time today, it's going to come up and test 215, I think. I think today it's going to try to test 215, the 20-day and the 4-hourly. Either gets rejection there and then goes down, or that's where we can make a move. I'm very blessed to have all of you. Have a blessed day, and I'll catch you guys in the short in about an hour or so.